So I had a producer say, "Good vid, can you make a tutorial on how to place good 808s?" So in this video, we're gonna do exactly that. So we're gonna straight into FL Studio. We wanna create a blank project. So the first thing we need to do that is click in the top left on File, hover over New from Template and click Empty, and that'll start a clean slate for us to work on. So the first thing we need to do is open our channel rack. You can use F6 as a shortcut to get into it, and we need to add a new channel with this button right here, this plus sign. And I have a lot of plugins, but we want to use whatever we have. Me personally, I use Flex. It has many free sounds and it's free with FL Studio. So I go here to the library and I'm just going to use Essential Pianos and my favorite piano, Steinway D. So now we need to right click on our instrument in the channel rack and click on piano roll. And this will open our piano roll so we can place down patterns. And I'm going to create a simple melody using chords and notes from the chords that I'm using. So my main chord is going to be A minor, and I know what notes are already in that. So if I build the chord here, notes from here are safe. And if you guys don't know how to build chords, you can click in the top right corner right there, and I'll teach you how to build chords. So building this melody, I'm using a 4-bar framework. So in the first one, we're gonna have an idea. We're just gonna play around until we find something that sounds good. So I like that one. So bar 1 is our idea. And then bar 2, we want to add some variation to it. And maybe I want to actually extend these out. So there. I know G is a part of this, so maybe I use the top G. This would be a 7th, so the 7th note in our chord. So maybe we add like that. Hold on. So now we just want to press Control B, and that's just gonna duplicate our pattern, and you can right click anywhere on screen to duplicate it. So first we have a simple idea. Second, we have our movement option. So it's gonna be these two little patterns or notes right here that add some sort of different vibe. So we got ascending, and then we're descending, and then we add a little bump for movement. And then again, we want to repeat this first one, and then we want to answer on the last one. So maybe instead of going down again, we're just gonna go up. And then maybe I even delay it even longer. Okay, so now we can change the instrument for that, and maybe we can find something cool sounding. So I changed up the pattern a bit, and I did lower my BPM to 120. So now I'm gonna actually just start straight out with the 808s instead of doing hi-hats and claps like I usually do. We want to select our bottom notes. You can use Shift and E to get your select tool out, and you want to hold Shift to make multiple selections or add notes in. So we don't want these, so you can just reselect them while holding Shift, and you just Control and C to copy it. And then we want to add an 808 and open our piano roll on that, and then Control V to paste it. So this will give us our bass notes. And the first thing I like to do right away is take every note after the first one and move it over by 2 if it's hitting on this first note. It gives you like a cool delay, and that should be a pretty cool 808 pattern already. Another thing we need to do is open our mixer channel, and you can do that by clicking F9, and we want to have our master channel highlighted, which it already is, but if it's not, you want to left click on it and then go into your slots, left click there, and then press Fruity Soft Clipper, and this will make our 808 sit in our beat properly. And then the first thing we actually want to do is turn this down by a lot. It's sitting at -9 for decibels. It kind of sounds like there's an error with my inputs, because usually it doesn't sound that loud. So this one actually doesn't sound right, and this one either. So these 2 hits I just delayed, and then we're gonna keep them like this. So, and then I want to actually move it to where this first or second note hits. So and then maybe we put an E note here where this one hits. Since this note is E, we're gonna just use E to bring it up. And then the next thing we want to do is right click on our 808 and press cut itself. So what that does is prevent it from overlapping and just sounding terrible. So that sounds pretty good, right? And then now if you hear in your head that like you want to add another 808 bounce or something, all I do is just put it in. And then I hear like a little boom 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 right there, so that's what I'm gonna do. Hold on. And then I kind of want this one to sit lower, so we're gonna bring that down to E. So I hear there we go. So now that we know that it's 2 notes, that kind of creates that right in succession kind of, or simultaneous, one after another. There we go. I also want to delay this a little bit. Yeah, I wanted to start on this one and then maybe bring that out too, and then Shift P to get in my pencil tool and then drag this one back. And you can scroll in to like get more precise positions on your note. And another thing we can do is route this to a mixer track. So if you come here in your channel rack and drag it upwards, it'll go to an insert, or you can use your mouse wheel to scroll and do it. So now it's routed to insert 1 and it already has it selected. So now we can go over to our slot channel and we can add on Maximus, and this will just give us control over where our levels for our 808 is. So if you click on bands here, it'll display where the sound is coming. So we have a big portion in our mids. It's pretty much split into thirds. So we want to actually make our 808 bigger in the lower frequency because that's how 808s hit. They're in a lower frequency already. And you can even add saturation on it. So I'm in the master. So if you have the master channel selected, the entire sound of the 808 will be saturated. And I also like to add some separation so it comes out of the headphones more, it sounds like. And we don't want it to be this loud in our 808, so we're gonna go in our Fruity Soft Clipper. We can actually bring this up a little bit. All right, so that sounds good to me. And we can also boost how loud it is in our Maximus as well. I usually just mess with the post gain instead of the pre gain, just so I don't overshoot the sound decibels. And if it sounds too low to you, you can always just bring up the decibels on it, so. And now we can add in our other instruments. There's another thing you can do. You can add a spreader onto it, and then it also brings out where it is in the headphones. And there's also a stereo separation too, so. And in your Maximus, you can also add some low cuts to give your beat more openness as well. And now this is pretty much where I add in my other instruments. use the same key or notes from your root note and it'll sound good. So I think that's a pretty simple 808 tutorial, and there's a thing with placing 808s. It's about like anticipation. So if you expect the 808 to hit, sure, you can put it there, but when you subtract the 808 from being there, when you expect it to hit, it's like, wow, when it does hit, it freaking like almost blows your mind. So that's something, food for thought, I guess, about 808s whenever you're creating a beat. So I can actually show that. So, now when I remove this one, it adds bounce to it. So just keep that in mind when placing your 808s. And like anticipation is really what gets your gears going when you're experimenting with your 808s. So keep that in mind when you place your 808s. And if this was a good tutorial, tell me it was a good tutorial. The last person did. And suggest whatever tutorial recommendations you have. And if you want to become a producer, or if you want to improve your producing skills, I have what I call a 24-hour beat breakdown, and I'll help you structure your beats. I'll help you come up with ideas. I'll help you with your melodies. I'll help you with placing patterns, your loops, board building, 808s, how to make cool effects with automations, anything like that. So I'll tell you what's working, I'll tell you what doesn't work, and what fix we can try to personalize your learning experience while being a producer. And if that's something you would like to do, all you have to do is submit whatever beat, loop, or problem you're facing in the link in my description, and I will send a personalized video out to you in 24 hours, and you could be featured on the channel. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you learned something, like the video and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.